I didn't need to believe that I can't trust myself. It was realizing that gave me the space to open up to myself and just like try being different. I indeed am fully capable of being the person that I've, had in my head that I wanted to be.
You find a diary in the middle of a room. What does it say? You want to peek? Should you play? But then it speaks. This is the Real-Time Diaries of Amber Skates.
Before we start today's episode, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar people. It is a privilege to be able to tell stories on this land. I want to acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. All right, let's do this. Rolling! Hello, everybody. It is episode 2. Oh my goodness, you have made it to the Real-Time Diaries, and today we're going to be reading my diary for the second week of January. I am feeling pretty elated today because today also happened to be the day that I launched the podcast. Can you believe it? It's all happening at once. I feel like I'm in this concoction of creation and I'm just watching the cogs turn and I'm just happily participating and letting it happen. But for those of you listening who can't see the video, I am sitting outside and it is nighttime and I'm on this gorgeous chair that my dad made when I was a little girl because my mum chose it. She said, I want this one made. He made it for her. And now here I am sitting on it. And I look like a little space girl. You can't see anything. You just see black behind me. But you see the chair is this gorgeous cream colour and it's covered in pink lights. Just got to say I've really thought about my lighting today and I really love it. I actually get shivers when I do this kind of thing because it just feels so right. Like it feels so right. And I think it's so hilarious that, I don't know, I have had struggles to get past myself to be able to create this kind of longer form content. And it's really, really nice to be the Amber now that is building systems to be able to do this. It takes time. And it's not to say I haven't been creating a lot in my life. I really, 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 really have. And it's important to acknowledge that. But also equally, I know I've got more in me. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing really well. It's really, really nice to be doing this with you. I have had the absolute time of my life creating the first episode, putting it all together. It was almost like it revealed itself to me how magical it was as it was being created. It's a really cool thing to be a part of. And I don't even know. I don't know what is possible for this thing. And the best thing is that no matter what, this is for me. This is for my own self-fulfillment, self-exploration, and whatever else comes from it is just a cherry on the top. Also, update, I have decorated the diary. I'm the daughter of a very, very creative and crafty woman, Jackie Skates. Skates Creates, look her up on Instagram. She turned my bedroom into a craft room within a day when I moved out of home. So I went in there. I got creative. Most of these materials were my own, thank you. I did not rob my mother, but I did rob her of some beautiful wax seals or wax beads, and I turned them into gorgeous wax seals on the top, and it's fluffy and pink and sparkly, and it is a tactile experience, and I am loving it. All right, I think it's time we open this bad boy and see what's in store. Also, I just love that it's kind of a surprise for me. If you're wondering how the workings of this are going, I'm now reading the diary from last week. Best part is it kind of feels like I've forgotten what I even said. How many entries have we got? 4.5 pages of writing. I'm excited. I think this is going to be great. I'm going to look at the beautiful stars in the sky while still talking into the microphone. Say thank you very much, universe, for having us here. All the creative gifts for the connection, and let's read this diary on the 10th of the 1st, 2024. Guys, I am feeling my oats right now. And the best thing is I let myself rest without the guilt, which meant when I did feel like doing something, my vision wasn't clouded. So I had the capacity to receive the vibes. I asked myself for a quick 10 minutes, put on a timer, and wow, the Pomodoro method does indeed work. I would like to mention the Pomodoro method is a technique used for ADHD. I have been very hyperfixated on researching into ADHD. It's a pretty amazing experience when you start to acknowledge how your brain works and give yourself space for it and start to treat yourself with love and care and find tools to make it easy. Oh my goodness. It's pretty amazing it's taken this long to figure that out, but that is on education. Wow. Who would have thought you can be a bit of everything all in one day and not give yourself a hard time? Suddenly I have the space for all of these cool revelations and new skills. I feel good. So real. This is a little poem I'd like to recite. I've been every color all in a day, a spectrum of light beaming my way. When I set myself free, there I suddenly see that the children were right. Life is free when you play. That's so cute. You want me to sing it? Well, fine, I'll sing it. I've been every color, all in a day, a spectrum of light beaming my way. But when I set myself free, there I suddenly see that the children were right. Life is free when you play. That was nice. Oh, I always love that. I love singing. I love singing so much. Wednesday, the 10th of Jan, 8:43 p.m. Yeah, okay. So this is like that night, the next day. Energy is a funny thing. We sit inside it so often, billowed around at its every will, but every so often, we swim above. We break the boundary and realize that we are, in fact, a body in water. We can swim. I felt that this evening as I sat in my stagnant energy, unsatisfied by the scroll, each swipe leering me into, I stood up. Just 10 minutes of something for me, I said, for that girl who has all the dreams, and suddenly I swam and my energy shifted, light at last, and freely I float. I'm editing the podcast for the first episode of this right now. I like this a lot. Mum walked in just before and asked me about it. How will this help you? She asked, lovingly, might I add. And to that, I responded, it's what I need to do next. I am an artist, after all, just like her. And so when an idea visits you, it is up to you to accept it. And accept it, I will. How about that, kiddo? And I've drawn a little picture of me lying in the water, gazing up at the stars, which is so funny because you'll hear in the next episode next week, I actually talk about this experience happening, but it hadn't happened yet. The perspective I'm getting from this diary right now is kind of insane. Not gonna lie. Oofed. This is really nice. Friday, the 12th of Jan, 11:07. That was funny. What was, Amber? I had just put a red light on to light up my diary, but my pen is pink, and so the whole diary was empty. How interesting. All the information is still there, but when you look through the same lens, it's missing in plain sight. I was just listening to an audiobook of The Mountain Is You, which funnily enough gets on the idea that I fell on last week. But what if I'm not actually in the way at all? Maybe I'm just looking at it all with the wrong light on. It's not actually my eyes, it's the filter in between. Everything is there. I've just got to change the light. Should I? Fine. I will. I will. Ha ha ha. I love these lights and I'm going to switch them out. Maybe an orange? I don't know. Is that kind of fun? I kind of miss the pink, not going to lie. But maybe we just have to accept it. Sometimes you just got to do what past you says. What can I say? I'm a slave. Sunday, the 14th of Jan, 1:17 a.m. Isn't it funny how many things you can be in one day? I've been a little under the weather the past few days. After promptly getting up in the morning, I was met with all the aches. Maybe some work in bed only tempted the impending nap. Fine, take me. I surrender to the nap. A couple hours later, boom, she was on. Gosh, if that ain't a sign to trust your body, then I don't know what is. Soon I was transfixed in all of the things I needed to do. And now I sleep with a to-do list so nearly done. I think it's so interesting. These entries so capture the vibe last week. Like it actually has been kind of revolutionary, the energy I've come into, especially whilst being here in Perth. I've been able to just set up like a system, a workspace for myself that actually supports me and my needs as a human. I think it really goes to show it's so important to set up a space and a system for yourself that is going to help you to get things done, help you to be the person you want to be. A lot of my struggles last year when I was going through harder times was just that I didn't give myself any space to set up structures and systems that would benefit me. And so I was kind of just trying not to drown in everything. I felt like there was no real way to ever get above water. And I did realize I needed to make a shift. Things do take time, but I just never gave myself the time for it, which was obviously a form of resistance. I think a form of trying to like sit in the comfort of what I knew. I think I was really afraid of how it would feel to have to face myself. And I was a bit scared of that. I was scared of, would I actually be able to follow through? I think I lost trust with myself. It's important to acknowledge that it happens in life, but it's interesting because I think it held on a lot longer than it needed to. I think that is why last week's episode really made a point of, what if I'm not actually in the way at all? This year was realizing that that didn't need to be true. I didn't need to believe that I can't trust myself. Like that was just a belief. It was realizing that gave me the space to open up to myself and just like try being different. I indeed am fully capable of being the person that I've, had in my head that I wanted to be. Like, I actually love being on top of my life. I love being organized. I love getting work done, or at least this version of Amber right now does. And like, that's really great. Cool. And like, I know I'll change. I know I'll go through stages. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of challenges, but I don't need to let that be like my identity. Yeah, that's really interesting. Oof, love that. All right, let's keep going. Not only that, my lifelong childhood bestie came by tonight. There's nothing like the magic of a person who's been there for all of it. So real. Just meeting you for another blip in a string as long as life. It's a pretty marvelous thing to get wrapped up again. As big as a lifetime or as small as a day, you truly never know what's next. But the things that are right for you will always come back. Oh, it's so real. It's so true. I feel like every time I get back into this, good feeling good space in my life, it's always like the number one thing I say to myself is like, look, I'm still here. I I was waiting for you. Maybe you couldn't see it. Maybe the light was a different color and it stopped you from being able to see, but I was there the whole time. And that is same with all the things in life. Like, those good things may go for a bit, but they are always there, out there in the world. And maybe you never will see some things again. Last things do happen, but you'll be surprised because those gifts in life always find a way of showing up. Maybe in a different form, maybe in a different person or a different experience or a different love. Those things that are meant for you will come back. They will come back. All right. Ooh, and there's a little bit at the bottom there, but the things that are right for you will always come back. Squiggle, 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 squiggle. Just a little wiser than before. Sunday the 14th, 6:04 p.m. I am learning a lot about this girl. It feels nice. Listening to my body, being kind to myself, managing my energies, and remembering that I don't need to punish myself for needing a break. How many times I have written this all of this week? So interesting, because those breaks allow me to replenish and be the other versions of me I also love. All these parts are special and come together to help little old Amber live. Oh, I was so on that this week. Isn't it funny? Because no spoilers for the next week, but very different. Very different. Sunday the 14th, 11:37 p.m. Oofty, your girl is creating. Now, who would have thought you love creating? Surprise! Every single time I'm like, wow, why don't I do this more often? Well, I am grateful for every moment that I do. This is what we're here for after all. And how beautifully friction-free it is. It's nice teaching myself I can do this. It is a special thing becoming. Oh, well, there we go. That is the end of that for now. And I've got to say, I've just had a little peek and the next episode is looking meaty. This is exciting because the best thing about this podcast is it is only getting better and better every time. Gosh, I had such a good time today. This was amazing. It was so nice to just come out here and like sit and create outside, covered by the beautiful space above me and the beautiful space around me. I just get so many shivers all through my body as I do this, and that is the sign that I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you felt something, because I felt a lot of things. So if you didn't, it's all good because I got us covered. But thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. I would love to hear if you did listen to this whole thing. Send me a message. Let me know what you thought, because I don't even know who's listening right now. As I said, next week's episode looks like it's going to be pretty insane. I am currently living it, and I can tell you now that it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And of course, if you enjoyed it, give the podcast a rating, or if you're watching the YouTube video, then give it a like, give me a subscribe, do all those things, because I want to get this out to as many people as possible. So if you even enjoyed it that much, why don't you share it with your friends? I hope that your story right now is going well and teaching you lots and giving you all of the ups and downs. And I hope if we take anything from today, it is that it is so important to give ourselves space for all our different energies all the time. I think that brings us to the conclusion. You've been listening to the Real Time Diaries of Amber Skates. Mwah. All my love, Amber. Bye. Woohoo! Done.